Hello, everybody in YouTube land. I'm bundled up here. Got my window wide open. It's still pretty chilly out there, so I need the fresh air though. My lungs haven't been good. Well, they haven't been good for the last 55 years, so it's nothing new. I don't have the coronavirus. I've been, as you know, I decided that I was going to hang around in my room here. So I headed into the bunker here 15 days ago, something like that. A little over 2 weeks, day, two over, 2 weeks. And I haven't been to the store. I went and got 1 gallon of milk during that time, and I didn't feel comfortable out there. Uh, I applaud these people that are out there in the grocery store still working. I mean, jeez, you're right. You guys are in the front lines. And I heard about grocery workers complaining that, I mean, they're twisting and hanging in the wind, and these men and women out there, working the cash registers, God bless you. Just stay safe. Nobody's wearing masks yet in this country. They're thinking about it. I trailed off on my last video. I was talking about this gal that used to work here who, in like the middle of December, first week in December, middle of December, she said that, she had come down with the flu, or it felt like it was something different, and she'd been trying to fight it off for 2 weeks. And a guy who works maintenance here, I mentioned him, got sick, was sick as a dog for like 3, 4 days, got better, and got sick again. And then I got something. And I was on my back for like 2 days. I've had the flu 2 times in my life. I've had the flu twice in the last 40 years. And I never got a flu shot. The last flu shot I got, I remember the middle. It was like 1982, 1983. For some reason, I was in a place in a drugstore or something picking up, and they were giving free shots away. So I figured, well, it's free. I'll get one. And I'm not kidding you. That was like 82, 81. I have not had a shot in that time period. I've been strong. You know, God, God bless my immune system. I've been given with a good immune system. I just never had the lungs. Can't be perfect. But since I've recovered from whatever it was that I had, my lungs haven't been the same. I mean, they're not good. I had a link uh, with my first video. If you scroll down, I tried to get some links. There were some links in there about this coronavirus. It just ravages people's lungs. I mean, it just tears them a new asshole. Same thing with their immune systems. And people got the coronavirus once, and then they got reinfected again. And the second time, they were sicker than the first time. And that sounds exactly like this guy. He got something, he recovered, he got it back. He was sick as a dog. He was telling me what his symptoms were because he said, these are symptoms. I've been sick a lot, in my life. I never had symptoms like this. I'm watching CNN. They're talking. They're doing a documentary about this lady who's taking care of her husband, who's sick, and she was talking about some of the symptoms he had. It was exact same symptoms that this guy had, who had got it twice, or he had got something twice. Now, I'm not trying to spread fear here. I'm not making predictions. I don't know squat. But, I'm trying to keep informed. You know, like I said, the one thing that I learned growing up back in the 60s in the Vietnam War era, everybody learned one important thing, that the government is lying to us. Okay, now Maybe they're not lying on purpose, or maybe it might not be a malicious lie. I don't know. But we're not being told the entire truth. It's like that A Few Good Men movie. Jack Nicholson is on television telling me you can't handle the truth. Well, at this time, and thank God for Dr. Fauci. He's saying it like it is. I heard him a couple days say, "Look, millions of Americans are going to come down with this," and this is something that I had thought. You know, looking at the numbers, you know, listening to what they were saying and how this thing spreads, and the lack of testing, and we don't know who's got it. And I said in my last video, millions of us have this. You know, I wish we didn't. But another thing about looking at this data is you have to accept it. This data isn't going to do anybody any good if you can't accept what you're seeing right in front of your face. Oh, no, this can't be right. No, this is too horrible. This can't be right. I got a gut feeling, you know. No, my gut's telling me that. Oh no, this ain't right. No, no, Governor Cuomo, he's got all the material he needs. I mean, what the heck is he talking about? He's got everything he needs. I can't believe what he's telling me. Well, look what happened to New York. Look what's happening to Chicago, Detroit. Now they're finding out that because of the Mardi Gras, New Orleans is going to be a graveyard. I hope not. But it's starting to look pretty bad. I saw the lieutenant governor on TV, and he said, "Look, I am sorry. I take as much responsibility for this as anybody." You know, I got to give him credit. I won't mention names, but, we have some leaders that won't accept any responsibility or a degree of responsibility for what has happened. What could have been done, should have been done, wasn't done. And he said, "Look, we didn't know. This guy from the lieutenant governor from Louisiana, he said, "Look, we didn't know. The World Health Organization didn't contact us and say, hey, shut Mardi Gras down. Shut the Mardi Gras down. Nobody told us that. We didn't know. We know that we're in a flu season, but we've always been kind of in the tail end of a flu season during this time of the year." And he said Mardi Gras is important to New Orleans. He said tourism in Louisiana brings in almost $2 billion a year. He said it's important to people who are working in the small businesses, the restaurants, the bars, the hotels. You know, they weren't. I don't think they were trying to be irresponsible down there. If they realized what was going on, I think they would have told people, "Look, we don't want to destroy your livelihoods, but we got to shut this thing down." Well, they didn't, and now look what happened. So, like I said, I got my window wide open. I wish I had some more money. I need to buy some air. I need my big my 95% cans of oxygen, but I can't afford to buy it right now. So I got to hang in there. We'll see what happens. I am just gonna hang loose here in the room. I'm gonna have to start fasting. I don't want to go to the grocery store. I don't have any money, but I can't really go. So in order for me to stretch out what I have by another, 2-3 weeks, I'm gonna have to start fasting. So it's not gonna kill me. I can go a day without eating. I got a lot of tea. I got extra coffee. So that's what I'm gonna do. The suggestions have been made from the task force here in the United States that everyone's got to sit tight until the end of April 30th. Then they're going to reevaluate. Thank God they aren't going to open up the country. I believe that we need an economy, but if everybody's dead, the economy isn't going to help us because no one's going to be alive to report to work. So you can't look at areas in the country right now and say, "Oh, that looks good. Let's just open things up there, because 2 or 3 days later, you got 300 more cases popping up around the state. I've been looking at the John Hopkins map for Iowa, and you look at it one day, and it's got all these little tiny dots around here, little small ones. You look at it the next day, the dots are bigger, and now there's another dot over here. There's another dot over there. You look at another 2 days, you got some big dots over here. You got a lot more dots. We don't know. The end isn't in sight yet. We aren't going to know for quite a while yet. I mean, we're screwed, people, for a while. Something else I want to say about before I forget. I mean, the social distancing thing is good, but it's not the social distancing thing in itself that's working. It's working because people aren't out touching surfaces. I read an article. Some professionals, some healthcare experts in diseases, viruses, they went onto the cruise ship. They came back, not the Princess cruise ship from in Japan, but the sister ship that was off California. They finally allowed those people to get off the boat, thank God. But they went in there and did some testing. They found the coronavirus living, or a still viable virus that was still contagious if it was picked up by somebody. And these viruses had been on these surfaces for 14 days. In some cases, up to 17 days that this virus is alive, and it's deadly, and it's on a surface, and it's been on that surface. So if we're at home and we're staying away from people, that's good, because we can pick it up from them too. But we got to remember that this virus is out there. So you go to the grocery store, you put your hand on the cart, or you open up a door somewhere, or you touch a shelf somewhere. We got to be careful, because that's where the virus is too. That's why I was saying in my last video that I believed that one of the things that China had done, and South Korea especially, they had the guys out there, full hazmat suits, sanitizing the country, and that was brilliant. That's, they put the people away, they tested everybody. Those that were well are at home, they're protected. Those that were sick were at home, or if they got real sick, they went to the hospitals, but they were separated, and while they had everybody separated into your infected groups, your clean groups, they were out there sanitizing the country. That was the smartest thing that anybody ever did. And they were out there spraying chemicals day and night. Italy is doing it. You watch the TV, they show these countries, you see these people out there spraying. Israel, Spain, Italy. Nobody's out here spraying in this country. I don't know why. I mean, it would make sense. Well, we don't have the complete lockdown that these other countries had done. So, hopefully, if people are not out there touching things, we'll be okay. But this is something to remember, and I want you people to think about that. If you have to go out, if you got some sanitizer, bring it with you. And before you open up that door, just squeeze a little in your hand, get your hands sanitized, and then touch that door. Bring it with you. I mean, if we haven't got to the point where the government here thinks that we should be out sanitizing the country, we got to sanitize ourselves. Okay, so do that. I'm not gonna, I've said everything that I can say. I'm watching the TV. I like I-24 News. They're out at Tel Aviv. They give a world view. They're really grounded. They're just reporting the news. I like to see what's going on in Israel or the Middle East. I like seeing, what's going on. They might show a little bit more about other countries. It's more of like a global channel, So if you got cable with I-24 News, in the package, give them a look. They're damn good. CNN is, I think they've stepped up. I've been critical of CNN in the past, but they have seemed to have stepped up. I like their news. Um, MSNBC, yeah, they're okay. I will not watch Fox News. I I actually started writing some critical tweets. I never did that before. I always used Twitter to follow some people and see what they were talking about, see what kind of links they were putting up, seeing what kind of talks they were having, links to documents or books or something like that they were reading, and I used it as kind of a resource. But I made some critical remarks about Fox News because if they're going to let some guy come on the show, some lieutenant governor from Texas, and he's going to tell me, someone in my age group, that I've got to be willing to like die to get the U.S. economy going. No, that's crossing the line. You know, I realize that the life of a human being in this world isn't worth 2 cents, but you don't have to stick it in my face. All right. So I'm done with Fox News. I'm totally done with them. So stay safe, stay put, uh, stay smart. If you gotta go out, bring your hand sanitizer with you, and use it before you touch anything. Because, maybe they're not telling the people on TV this because they don't want to panic people. They don't, they don't want to tell people that there's live virus out there for up to 2 weeks anywhere, that any kind of a surface. And I can understand that. But I'm telling you, this is what I read. This was stuff coming out of China. Uh, and the stuff that I'm reading, I verify it. I can see what they're doing on the television. I read this. I see somebody doing something that relates to that. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Why out there? Why are these countries out there spraying the crap out of everything? They must know something that we don't know. And South Korea has done phenomenal. I'm looking at their stats on the John Hopkins dashboard. They're doing well. China kind of started going back up a little again. They were at 80,000. It went up to 81. It kind of hung at 81. A few more hundred here and there. But it looks like they've got the handle on it. I don't know if they're still spraying, but, they've got the handle on it. And they had their people wearing masks, too, out in public. Of course, they learned from SARS. I mean, if you go back and look at some documents, some old TV shows, whatever, from the SARS days, which was, it's quite a while ago, people were wearing masks. So, and I can see why maybe we aren't being told to wear them because we don't have them. And these people out in our hospitals, it's a war zone. They need them. I'll stay in my room. I'll breathe my fresh air. Pray to God that my lungs didn't get damaged any more than they did when I came down with whatever it was, from these other people. I don't know if it was coronavirus. I told the one guy, I said, "Hey, I think we had it. We got a piece of something that was similar to it that maybe hadn't mutated into what we've got now, but they haven't been good. They haven't been good ever since I got out of the casino business again. I never should have gone back. That secondhand smoke was ridiculous. I didn't know what else to do. Nobody else would hire me. You can't. Don't tell me that older people in this country aren't being discriminated against. The only job I could have got was to go back to the casino business, and I was good at it. I was damn good at it, but doesn't mean that I wanted to. I was forced to. But I'm done now. I don't want to work anymore. And I'll just live my quiet, simple life. I'm blessed. I've got a home. I've got the money to pay for it. I've got food. I've got my health. I've got everything that I need right now. So, I've never believed that I was ever in the right place at the right time, but here I am. I'm on my last shoe, and I'm doing okay. So, like I said, stay strong, stay smart. All right, and hang in there. I'm starting to do some yoga now. I'm gonna get back and start doing some heavy calisthenics. I've gotta. If I'm gonna be stuck here for the next 30 days again, I gotta keep my strength up. So, hang in there, everybody, and take care.